I love it. Listeners, we've got Shaman Keith Robinson from England on with us tonight, and if you have a question for Keith, please feel free to give us a call. As you were talking, there were two pieces that came to me that connected me a little bit. One is there's a movie, I don't want to say it's from the 80s, that Robin Williams starred in. It's called What Dreams May Come.
I know the film.
That's the movie that really made me start to say, is what I create in my heart and in my mind that lives beyond me what I expect to receive, and do I create my hell in an expectation of life because there's shards or aspects of me that can't see the brilliance of who I'm meant to be?
It's such a perfect film, how it is, so is. And that definitely relates to my work, there's no doubt about that. And the pictures I'm coming to there is particularly when someone has an encounter with an extraterrestrial, because some people, when they have encounters with extraterrestrials, have totally enlightening experiences which clearly have moved them on, and other people have experiences which seem to be where their experiments done, and it's pure hell. And the thing that seems to be the determining factor is the state of mind of the person at the time of that particular event. And if it's focused on the negative, then it turns into a hell experience. And if it's focused on the positive, then it can literally be transformative. So that does seem to have a big aspect of our nature as human beings. Yes, it does. And yet part of our human nature is actually to come here, get our wounds, and then deal with them. That's the other thing. My mother, bless her, Joyce, I just want to say this one which she's come up with time and time again is not so much what the experience is, but actually how you choose to respond to the experience. That's so crucial as a human being. That's a wonderful thing, I think.
And the other vision that came to me while you were speaking earlier was just going to astrology for a second, which I'm not so inclined. I'm more numerological than I am astrological, but that understanding of the South Node, which is that which we've been, which holds us stuck in a lifetime, which keeps us from trying to be drawn into a greater destiny. It's our fears that we've experienced. How does that play with the whole shamanic journey of the soul and being stuck in a place that you just can't find your way to get out of?
There are only two books that I'm going to be drawn to recommend, and this is the first one. This is by an American guy called Robert Schwartz, and the title of the book is Your Soul's Plan. And this book was so helpful to me in understanding what was going on with some of my clients, because when you say, you choose an example of a person who deliberately decides to go down a particularly difficult rabbit hole, such as maybe consuming heroin, something like that. What is it that draws a person to go into that particular place? And this book really helped me to understand. Plus, I also have the experience of working with people who've chosen some pretty difficult choices, and sometimes a person can choose to do something which may seem like a really hard, difficult choice, and that could have knock-on benefits and effects that we can't even begin to think of until we go deeper. So I was very, very encouraged by that book, Robert Schwartz's book of Your Soul's Plan. It really helped me to understand. And in terms of guidance, there are all sorts of strange things, the way events can be orchestrated. In a sense, what we're dealing with here is something that's really a big picture to grasp, because every single person has got their own life plan, and yet they're all meshing and dovetailing in with everybody else's life plans. And it seems that some of the ones that take the harsh routes, I think of another one in that book, which is a person that literally got blown up. She was able to realize that every single time she came into physical incarnation as a human being, she had a job to do. And every single lifetime she got distracted. So she set herself up this time. I want something so big that's going to happen to me when I'm an adult that's going to literally blow me away and blow me up and force me to get put back together. And then when that happens, she's going to be completely focused on her function. And that's exactly what it was. It was to form a worldwide organization to help people with trauma. So it is amazing the way a person's individual story can actually bring about worldwide change. So if I look at things in terms of the old paradigm, there's no question about it. Every fear, every trauma, every wound, essential on our life's journey, and we have gained so much from that experience. But what I'm very excited about is 2012. You've mentioned it once, let's mention it again. Here we are, 2012. Things are possible this year which haven't ever been possible before. But what I'm so excited about, and this is what USR is all about, is it's about, okay, everyone, this is 2012. It's time to actually move on beyond that. Let's get everything brought back. Let's get all the lost found. Let's get all the energy returned. Because what excites me so much is when the person does have that energy returned to them through the USR, they are then in a position which they've never been in for maybe millennia, maybe many lifetimes, which is, hey, let's have my full complement of energy to play with. Let's not be walking around constantly disabled by the fact that I haven't even got enough energy to put one foot in front of the other, because I'm the walking wounded, you know. It's time that that's over.
What I love about this time specifically is there are so many tools that allow us to move effortlessly, fearlessly into instant healing, where, you know, our thoughts can be made manifest. I was talking to a friend of mine just the other day who said she heard some song and thought of a guy and saw him on the street 2 seconds later, and I said, you know, it took me back to the word abracadabra, where I'm going to pull something out of thin air to show it right in front of you. And I did a little research, and Sonny helped push me a little bit too. I shared this with my people from Hebrew, and I know it's more Aramaic, but abra means I create. Ka is what, and dabra is I speak. So I create what I speak, and the power of our words now to call in our angels and guides to help make manifest from our heart and from our fears has never been more instantaneous, right?
Exactly right. Yes, that is so beautifully put. I love your description and translation of abracadabra, by the way. Thank you for that.
Let me take a caller for a second. Then I want to get into the process a little bit. Hey, you're with Hal and Keith here on Miracles by Design.
Oh my God, what a wonderful show. Keith, you are so brilliant. Hal, you are the most wonderful host. The energy of this show is so divine. My heart is just brimming. And I wanted to basically say 3 real quick things. I have a question for Keith. Hi, Keith.
Hi there.
Hi there. Thank you. So the first thing I wanted to say is that I was just about to go and on the computer get into your show. This is true. It just came on. I didn't click anything, Hal. It just came on.
That's good.
Yeah.
I love it.
It was unbelievable. So that was fun. The second thing is that, and bless Cher for calling that Cher with the C. Some of my friends have been very gracious by sharing some of their soul retrieval reports that Keith gave them with me. And I one of the things I want to say is, having read about 5 or 6 or 7 of them and knowing some of these people really well, okay, each one is so different. I mean, of course there are the same things, the curse removal and all that stuff that we have, but there are specific things to each one that just tell me that Keith is the real deal. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
You don't have too many minutes left. But I bless you both. I send you so much love and blessings, hugs, and thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Tony, thank you for the divine connection. I appreciate you.
What a joy. Thank you.
All right. Keith, let's talk for a few minutes, because I had the extreme pleasure to have you do work for me, and the first day I did feel very, very different. I had a lot going on, and then about 2 days later, after I got enough water in my system, Keith, to kind of get that energy moving right, I really felt this aliveness that it's been a while, but let me take people through my experience. And guys, if you go to www.UTshaman.com, you can actually, Keith describes the universal soul retrieval process in a video, and many other great videos. And also, I just want to give a shout out that Keith is prepared to come to the United States if we can get a concentrated group in a certain part of a city, and we can get about eight people together to do a workshop and to do some courses for us as well. So we would just need to get him over here and gain from his incredible wisdom and experience. But for me, what Keith said was how here are your instructions. It's like a good doctor, a good shaman doctor. He gave me very specific things that I had to do, which was no meat for a while and purified water and just to relax. And that, in my case, it was like 5 in the morning or whatever day we ended up doing it, Keith. While he was in London, I was sound asleep. And within, I know he did it within hours after completing. It just took me a while to get my connection back, to get my report. But what I got was this incredible insight that I knew intuitively and instinctually who I am. But he painted a picture for me to understand how I came to be what I'm experiencing as me right now. And through many, many lifetimes and great experiences, my ability to become much more empathetic because I've been abused or I've been the abuser, and to really understand how to shift to put myself in that place, and or to really ask deep, probing, loving questions that help me understand why do we do the things we do and who are we. And so he looked at health, he looked at origins, he looked at curse removal, he looked at negative energies. He did some DNA work to bring the DNA stuff back to a healthier state. He looked at some aging things that tried to really work with me. He looked at my past lives to see what was important to help take me to where I am. Keith, you said in this, I wanted to ask this question. You said there were 7,049 soul parts to retrieve with me, and everybody's got a different number. Is that fragments that are out there? Those aren't lifetimes. Are those fragments from different lifetimes? Or tell me what that is.
Yes, certainly. So what it is, if you just think about one particular lifetime, then you're having various shocks and traumas that are happening in that one lifetime, and we're focusing on the most significant ones there. And then when the Universal Soul Retriever was downloaded to me, the first thing was, hey, you're not working with one lifetime anymore, it's all lifetimes, so we're cherry-picking the most significant instants, which are the ones that are having most knock-on effect in your present-day now incarnation. That's all we're focusing on. And for everyone, the number is different, but it is interesting how that number has shot up in the last 18 months. And this isn't a nice or an easy thing to talk about, but I have to be really blunt with you, which is that there are some people that choose to explore the dark side, for want of a better word, in terms of black magic. And I've had a number of clients who've come to me who've definitely been the victims of such experiences. So this is where one or more human beings decides to train themselves with specific abilities to then go around deliberately inflicting harm on other people. So there are cases where this does happen, and then my job is to go in there and to find the part that has actually not been lost by accident or trauma, but through deliberate manipulation by a hostile intention. So that's definitely part of the work too. Sometimes we're actually having to go and find the ones that have been not just literally lost down the rabbit hole, but have been cast into a dungeon, for whatever better way of explaining things. And the thing that's so important with this kind of work is what we call unbending intent. This is one of our key phrases as shamans, because if I've been asked by a client to do a particular piece of work and I find that that's what I've got to deal with, the only thing that keeps the whole show together is my unbending intent, which is that I am absolutely cast iron certain that because I've been asked to find this lost part, there's nothing going to stand in my way, and no one's going to stand in my way. And I need to be like that in order to get the results. You can imagine there are people out there that have been exposed to some pretty horrific stuff, and you bet they need help. They certainly do. So we go all out when we find a situation like that, and we always triumph because there's no other outcome is possible. That's the way we have to see things. So that's it, and off we go, and we bring them all in. That's what we do.
And this might be some of the magic of this time period with this 25,625-year cycle around the central sun, but
yes.
to know that this was the time where we could come and pull our stuff together and to say, I'm going in to heal so I don't have to go in maybe as many more times on that learning planet. Let me go get all my stuff together and see if I can stand in my love and turn away from fear and get rid of this disparate part of me that no longer serves my highest purpose. And I feel that. I feel
yes.
that.
Yes. Yes, it is literally about bringing all those lost and neglected and unwanted parts back into the whole. And the sense of satisfaction I get when I see them, because I see these soul parts when they're returned, and we go into this dimension of peach pink healing light. And this is the thing I need to say to your listeners. I was trained as a medical scientist. I spent years working in pathology, and it's been such a strange personal journey. It's taken me from full orthodox science to having a wife with cancer, being powerless to help her, watching her dying, and then thinking, and now what? And then the very night that she died, okay, this is what you're going to do, and then the next thing I'm doing it. It's amazing how life goes like this. It just is all about connecting with your purpose. But in terms of what you're focusing on, this is such an exciting time to be alive, and there are many methods out there which are all about bringing us into full unity, really. It's all about unification of ourselves. It really is.
Al had a question about discuss the aging, please.
The aging process, yes, certainly. Right, it's a complicated process, but what I want to explain to you is that in your DNA, which is in the chromosomes of every single cell in your body, there are some parts of that DNA which have got a specific function, which is to cause you to age at a certain rate. And I can remember coming across this through studying science, through mainstream science, and coming across amazing books like David Wilcock's produced this book called The Source Field Investigations. What I'm finding is that there are people like David Wilcock that are actually giving chapter and verse to the why and how and why I can do what I can do, because sometimes I'm thinking, how can I do that? So that is an obvious rational mind question. How on earth can I tinker with the aging program? Well, it's only by permission. So here's the important thing to understand, which is that we are all conditioned to believe that we have to age. And that actually is hardwired into us through our DNA. My big flash realization is I was taught that DNA and your genetics was a fixed quantity. You can't change it. That's what I was taught by mainstream science. Then I discovered with modern science, new science, that's not true. You can change your DNA at any time. So when you realize you can change your DNA at any time, this is where we come back to your words, Hal, abracadabra. I create with my thoughts. And that's how we can actually change and reduce the aging program. Now, here's the interesting thing. Out of all the years I've been working, I think I've only ever had 6 people that were actually in a place where they wanted to delete their aging program 100%. Only half a dozen. Everyone else has still said, well, it's the aging program. All we can do is slow it down at this time. But don't forget, there's only February 2012. Who knows what things are going to be like in 4 months' time? In terms of our openness to possibility. Who knows? That's what
well, I'm so blessed that I'm getting younger every day, Keith. So the DNA's right on, dude. Whatever my mom and dad gave me, it's been powerful stuff.
Exactly.
Let me, and you know what my parents gave me? Was the power of positive thought.
Oh, you've been blessed. You've been blessed.
Gratitude, serving others and finding our gifts, and being humble and being thankful for everything we have. That's the gift my parents gave.
Oh, they gave you the best gift anyone could hope for. You really did.
Oh, gosh, guys, we've only got 90 seconds. Listen, if you choose to do a Universal Soul Retrieval session with Keith, it's under $150 U.S. It's brilliant, and it changes you eternally. How many things can do that for under $150?
You're a magician, Hal. I love the way you express that. It's wonderful.
I mean, if you want to keep coming back and getting the crap kicked out of you, come on back. But for $150, it's worth the opportunity, right?
I love the way you work with words. It's brilliant.
Keith, we love you. Thank you for bringing your gift to the planet. Folks, if you choose to use the gift, it's easy to receive. and there's nothing
Yes.
you have to do except believe. Pete, I want to invite you back again sometime. We've got
Really?
we didn't get to talk about your process. I want to go into the orange room. I want to go into all these pyramids, work with you, and we'll figure that out. But
okay, yeah.
thank you for being such a great
future.
gift. Yeah, thank you for your gift, my friend. And we're gonna move out now. Keith,
Nice.
you are a blessing, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hal. Thank you.